Over 3 million in ad spend, 250,000 leads generated, 10,000 ads tested, 100 clients. I've learned what works when it comes to ads, and I've learned what doesn't work, and I've learned it all the hard way. So here's 21 quickfire, no BS lessons I've learned that will help you boost your ad account performance without you having to waste years of your own time trying to figure it out, or hundreds of thousands in ad spend. And in case you don't know who I am, my name's John. I run a company called Min-Max Media. We help people run ads. If you want to learn a little bit more, there's a link below. Now, if you're starting out with a new offer or running something to a new audience, it can feel really overwhelming in terms of where to start with headlines and ad creative. Well, when setting up ads in Meta, there's an option for dynamic ads. Turn this on and it allows you to put in multiple headlines, body copy and creatives, and then it will test all the combinations and just find the winner for you. You can see which perform the best by selecting this breakdown option in the ads manager. Finding the right audience can make or break your campaign. Get it wrong and you risk burning money. Now, we spent ages trying to figure out how you can test audiences effectively, and we settled on the rule of 3. So when running an offer to an audience, always try to hit that same audience in 3 different ways. For Facebook ads, that's usually some combination of audiences focused on different interests, possibly with a lookalike audience if you have the data. On LinkedIn, you should target one audience with job titles, one with job function mixed with seniority, and the last one is a wild card, which is usually something like job seniority plus function plus a company growth rate of 5%. Now, when testing audiences, did you know you can let Facebook figure it out for you? When building at the campaign level, you can select campaign budget optimization. This is a game changer. It allows you to set the ad spend at the campaign level, and Meta will then find out which audience is working best and automatically allocate ad spend to the top performing ad set. You can use Facebook's insanely advanced machine learning algorithms to target your ideal audience. And most people aren't taking advantage of this. Now, the old way of building campaigns was to target people based on interests, and you had loads of options, but Meta removed a lot of those options and everyone was up in arms.
But you can't do this to me.
Little did they know there was a reason for it, and it was actually to make their lives easier.
What the
So, by enabling Advantage Plus audience targeting at the ad set level, Meta will use your audience as a suggestion as to where to look. But it will also read your ad content and landing pages, so it knows what your ads are about, and it will then target people actively interested in whatever it is you're promoting. This lets Meta do more of the heavy lifting for you and brings in results a lot quicker. Where your ads are shown can be the difference between a highly profitable campaign and a campaign that just brings in low quality traffic. We found that it's best to use manual placements when building a campaign and unchecking the box that says audience network. By doing this, you'll improve traffic quality by reducing clicks from bots. Now, have you ever used lead forms but you found that the leads just suck? Well, there's a solution to that. The more friction you add, the higher quality the leads, but it doesn't end there. You can also train Facebook to put your ads in front of more qualified leads. If you're using lead gen forms on Meta, turn on conditional logic and add 1 to 3 qualifying questions. Set it so that any answer that makes a lead unqualified marks them as not a lead. This will first off improve lead quality, but it'll also help train Facebook as to what types of people are qualified leads. You may have found that when using lead forms, you can get loads of leads for a really low cost, but scheduling them is a nightmare. Well, the reason that's likely happening is first off because they're not bought in enough, and secondly, they just don't have enough context. So instead, once they complete the lead gen form, have some text that tells them they're not done yet. And to complete their application, they have to click the link below. Then send them to a page, and on this page you can give more context and prompt them to schedule. But what does that landing page look like? Well, it looks just like this. Now, we use high level to build out ours, keep it really simple, just a headline and then a PDF or a video that explains how and why your system works, and ideally shows some proof of it actually working. Below that, have the ability for them to pick a time for a call. This will increase schedule rates. When running an ad campaign for lead generation, you can either use native lead gen forms or landing pages, but which is better? Now, we've tested both at length, and we found that in a majority of cases, landing pages outperform lead gen forms, but they're harder to work because there are more moving parts. The system we found best was to start with a lead gen form. Now, if that starts bringing in leads at a reasonable cost, and there are at least some qualified leads in there, then you can trial a landing page to improve lead quality. But what does a good landing page look like? Well, we've tested a few of varying lengths and we found that the solution is often to keep it short and simple. Here is what our current landing page template looks like, but I cover landing pages in this video here, which can also be found on this channel. So subscribe to make sure you can watch that after this video. When making ad creative, what actually works? We found that all of our top performing ads fell within one of three core categories: offer ads, emotional pain, or proof. So if you're starting out, use these. But wait, John, how the fuck do I make offer ads? Well, offer ads come down to simplifying your value proposition to its most simple and basic form, and just telling people what it is you do. Most ads just confuse people. And here's a template that we use for offer ads. Then there are emotional pain ads. These ads have been staples of our top performing ad accounts for years. People buy emotionally and then they justify logically. So with these ads, we're going to target that emotional pain. Here's one of the templates that we use for emotional pain ads. The core to making this work is speaking in a way that your target audience identifies with, ideally highlighting how they feel about something better than they can articulate it themselves. And what about proof ads? What does that mean? Well, these ads are very similar to offer ads, but instead of stating the offer, you show the result that is achieved from the offer. The best way to do this is with UGC content. So get your existing clients to talk through the outcome they've experienced with your product or service, and then use that content as ad creative. When running ads, how much should you allocate to testing? Well, luckily there's a simple rule. It's a 70-20-10 rule. 70% of your spend should go to what's working. 20% of your spend should go to iterating on ads that are already working. And 10% of your spend should go to testing completely new ideas. Let's say you launch a new ad. How long should you give it before you decide that ad is a winner or a loser? Actually, it's not a matter of time, it's a matter of data. Firstly, we need to set a baseline. So let's say an ideal lead cost of $100. Then you need to spend 3 times that baseline before you determine if an ad works or not. So in this case, let's say you spent that $300, but your cost per lead actually works out as $150. So it didn't pass the test. But if it worked out as a cost per lead of $50, it definitely passed the test and you should scale it up. Oh, and if you need help with your ads, we have a service where we make static and video ad creative for you, and then we get paid based on how well it performs. If you want to learn a little bit more, there's a link below. Now let's say you found a winning ad and your leads are coming in, but 90% of them suck. Well, there's a simple solution for this. The more hoops someone has to jump through to complete a form, the harder it becomes. The good news is that tends to weed out those that are less qualified. So we found that if we needed to increase lead quality, all we did is just add more questions to lead forms, or we add more steps to the landing page sequence. And if we've gone too far, we remove friction to get more leads. One of the biggest lessons we've learned from running ads is that ads are actually a tiny part of what makes a campaign successful. In fact, when running lead generation ads, we found that the primary factor that determined success was actually the actions that came after the lead was acquired. Practically, this means follow-up, meaning if you follow up in more times, faster, and in ways that other people don't, you will make more money. Unfortunately, not all follow-up actions are equal. Some are way more effective. We found that the best follow-up was highly personalized and informal. 2 of the best follow-up actions we found was a simple SMS message asking, "Hey name, did you just sign up for X?" or "Hey name, did you just get the case study I sent?" Additionally, we found that recording a short Loom video introducing yourself and emailing it to a prospect prior to a call dramatically increased show rates to those calls. Now, look at this ad. This template was one of our top performers across multiple companies. But why and what the f***? Now, this is something we found consistently. Ads that use humor, such as memes or even comedy skits, have higher click-through rates and lower cost per acquisition. And they also scale easier. So if you find a meme template such as this that works, consider trying that same messaging in other meme formats, or use it as a basis for a humorous script. This next point let us launch an ad campaign, halve our cost per acquisition, and it was insanely easy. So we had a campaign that was working on LinkedIn, but we wanted to make it better. So we made remarketing audiences for anyone that interacted with our ads, even those that converted. Then we launched a campaign aimed at these people. It blew up our ad account and also increased show rates and close rates. Now, we found that the more touch points and the more exposure someone has to your ads, the more likely they are to convert. And we found that the best way to achieve this was with remarketing, with a mix of content that pushes your offer still, but also informs, educates, and entertains. There are a load of ad formats to run, but not all are created equal. Here are what we found are the top performers. On Facebook or Instagram, we found that video was top and then static image just below that in terms of bringing in results. On LinkedIn, however, single image was the top performer. So when starting out, focus on these. We found a really easy way to steal top performing ad creatives so that you can use them for yourself. Now, when we started out, whenever I saw an ad that worked on me, I would screenshot that and then I'd add it to a Google Drive. Then, whenever I needed an idea, I would just go and look at that library. In fact, we still do that. But there's an easier way. Firstly, install the Foreplay extension to Chrome, and I have no idea why they decided to call it that. Then go into your competition's ad libraries, scroll down and find their longest running ads. Save these to Foreplay and you'll have reference material of ads that work. When setting up an ad campaign, you can choose an action for Meta to optimize for. But did you know you can abuse this function to scale easier? Let's say you optimize for schedule. Facebook will find people who are most likely to take that action. And it'll scale, but eventually you'll hit a cap. Well, if you just duplicate that campaign, you can change what it's optimizing for, such as optimizing for a lead instead of a schedule. And from this, you open up an entirely new audience. Repeating this allows you to scale up your winning ads more before hitting ad fatigue. There is so much more you need to make a campaign work, such as how you frame your offer or what you do with leads once they come in. And getting this stuff wrong can mean that you are nailing ads, but ultimately overall your campaign isn't working and you have no idea why. Thankfully, in this video, I cover all of those strategic points, so check it out.